You know, I come on here just about every week, and I tell you basically what's wrong with Raw and why it sucks. And I don't know what else there is to say, man. Again, uncreative booking, illogical booking, uncreative segments, uninteresting segments, boring characters, and I don't mean the talent themselves, but just the way that they're portrayed on television is fucking boring. To the point where it's like, you just don't care. No matter how much you are a fan of that person, they book you, or they book them in a way where it's hard for us as fans to care. You know, you got overexposing talent, again, tonight on the show. You're underexposing other talent. Like, for instance, the War Raiders were brought up. It was like this big deal. They relinquished the NXT Tag Team titles so they can get called up. And where the fuck are they? 4 weeks now? We haven't seen or heard a peep from them? Where's the Authors of Pain? Aren't they supposed to be coming back? Where's Andrade? Where's Finn Balor? And yeah, I understand that those are SmackDown guys, but hey, Roman Reigns is a fucking SmackDown guy, and he's on Raw every single week, isn't he? Can you think of a Monday Night Raw that Roman Reigns hasn't been on since he got drafted? Because I sure the fuck can't. And not only that, but he started off tonight's show. So right off the bat, you got the same boring pan over the camera, or pan over the crowd that Kevin Dunn just loves to do, like it's so fucking great. You got Michael Cole welcoming us. I can't even talk to this show. It's just fucking, just completely, just numbs my mind that I can't even think. So he welcomes us to Raw in the most unenthusiastic way as usual. And then right off the bat, you hear Roman's theme song. So you got Roman's theme song going off, and then within a second, you got, Michael Cole ready to, gargle on that Roman cock. Talking about here comes the big dog, like always. So within the first 6 seconds of the show, I'm already uninterested and ready to turn off the television. You have a 3-hour show, and one of your most important segments has to be the opening segment. It has to grasp the audience's attention, or they're not going to want to stick around. If you don't start off the show with something hot, it's hard for the crowd to stay interested, no matter how much you want to fucking hype up the Undertaker's coming, or how much fucking Brock Lesnar's cashing in. None of that shit is going to make a difference when you start off the show with fucking Roman Reigns and Shane McMahon, a fucking feud that nobody wants to see. Anyway, like I said, the show starts off, Raw starts off with Roman Reigns. And again, you wonder why people are so negative on the product. They get the same shit every fucking week. Like I said, the guy gets drafted to SmackDown, and they made a big deal about it, like it was some big deal that he got drafted to SmackDown. And like I said, he's on Raw every single week. He can't take a week off. We can't get one Raw without Roman. It's unfucking believable. It really is. It's not helping the ratings, and it never will. Roman Reigns is not a ratings grab. He's not going to bring in a new audience. If anything, he's going to take the audience that is watching and drive them away, which he's already been doing. Fucking Christ, dude. Of course, we're told that Brock Lesnar's cashing in, and then we get a camera that's waiting backstage for their arrival of Lesnar and Heyman. And there's some fucking idiot in the camera view. He's just in there walking around. Probably wasn't supposed to be there. He goes running out of sight. I just shake my head at this. I'm like, already, there's fucking got idiots running around backstage that shouldn't be in the camera shot. And then you got fucking Roman Reigns in the ring. So before Roman can even utter a word, Shane McMahon comes out. Shane, of course, then has Mike Rome announce him properly with the whole best in the world shit. And I'm telling you right now, I've said it. I'm going to say it every week that I hear it, because I swear, between Mike Rome and Greg Hamilton, the two best ring announcers probably in the world. If there's anybody who's the true best in the world, it's these two. For what they do, they're definitely the best at their jobs. Nobody does it better. I mean, Justin Roberts is good, and I've always enjoyed him, but I don't think he's as good as Mike Rome or Greg Hamilton. I'm sorry. They are fucking great. Best in the world is not Shane McMahon. He's far from the best. Needs to go away. Shane then starts going over how he's gonna beat up Roman on Friday and yada yada yada. Nobody really cares. And Roman Reigns pretty much comes back with him and just says how Shane has no chance, and that The only reason Shane can win or wins or does anything is because he has help always on his side. He always relies on help. At this point, you know, I'm thinking, why is a SmackDown feud opening up Raw again? Yeah, I don't understand this. Monday Night Raw, yeah, you got a feud from SmackDown opening the show. Unfucking believable. It just doesn't make any sense to me. It's the shit that pisses me off. It just doesn't make any sense. Why is there even two brands anymore? Anyway, McIntyre then comes out, you know, looking like a champion and a beast, but acting like Shane's bitch still. So, good job on there, McIntyre. I'm sure your choice to come back to the WWE was a great decision, and you don't regret it at all. He basically just comes out, says that they're not going to wait until Friday or whatever, and they're going to take out Roman right now. So they start to make their way to the ring. The Revival comes out of nowhere, attacks Roman from behind, and then, of course, here comes the Usos to the rescue. Again, they're trying to shield Roman away from the boos by pairing him with people who actually are liked and get cheers. So, basically, as soon as the Shield is gone and Dean Ambrose leaves and becomes Jon Moxley and goes to AEW, they instantly pair Roman Reigns with the Usos. It's fucking disgusting, people. It's fucking disgusting. If you don't see this shit, you know, and not many people pay attention to these details. Not many people even notice it. And then when they do notice it, they just ignore it. Open your eyes. They're constantly shielding this man from boos. Believe me. We then, of course, get our weekly exciting 6-man tag match with the Usos and Roman versus McIntyre and the Revival. I know, you're shocked. I am too. I'm not gonna lie to you. I fast forwarded as usual through this entire match because I just don't care. I fast forwarded to see who won, and that was it. I honestly don't know who cares about a Roman and Shane feud. It's not something that excites anybody. I don't know who the fuck is excited by this shit. Anyway, McIntyre and the Revival win thanks to Shane interfering on the outside. Because, you know, it's the only way that a heel is allowed to win on the main roster. They can't win clean, especially against Roman. And Roman didn't take the pin, of course. So, after the match, they beat down Roman. So, if you're expecting Shane McMahon to win on Friday, then you're sadly mistaken. Shane then finishes this little beatdown by hitting a terrible-looking spear on Reigns. And I'm just sitting in my head, man, I can feel the people just changing the channel already. Just within the first, 15 minutes of the show, and people, I can just hear the remotes clicking to watch whatever they want, whether it's the fucking, you had the Stanley Cup going on tonight. I'm sure there was probably a basketball game going on. The NBA Finals, I think, started. You know, I'm sure there was a baseball game on. Yankees, Red Sox, Mets, whoever you like. I'm sure watching that, even if your team is losing, is probably more entertaining than this garbage. Believe me. And, you know, I've said that AEW shouldn't directly compete with WWE, especially like on a Monday night or something like that, but I'll tell you right now, I'd be lying if I said that I wouldn't click over to watch AEW show over what we're watching on Raw. If AEW had a show on tonight, their weekly show was on Monday nights like Nitro, I would be clicking the channel and watching their show, and then their show would, I'm sure, would be entertaining enough where it would, you know, retain my attention, and I probably wouldn't even click back to Raw because I just don't care. Nothing that they announced tonight got me excited. I mean, the Undertaker being there is always going to be somewhat of a grab just because it's the Undertaker, and I do enjoy the Undertaker being there, even though he's old and he's kind of not what he used to be, but he has been a part of my entire life, so, you know, I do want to see what the man has to say or what possibly he has to do. We'll get into that when we get into it because it wasn't really all that great. Anyway, you know, this is not how you start off a show to keep people's interest. You know, the only reason I kept watching is because I enjoy making these videos and doing reviews for you guys, so hopefully you guys don't have to watch the show, and if you did watch the show, you can listen to somebody shit on it like it deserves to be shit on. When the show doesn't deserve to be shit on, I won't shit on it. I'll tell you it's a good show. Like NXT on Saturday was a fucking fantastic show. If I would have made a review for that, I basically wouldn't have been shitting on anything. The only thing I might have shit on a little bit was the lackluster women's match. That was a little bit underwhelming in my opinion. Aside from that, fantastic show. So what do we got here next? You know, and it's funny because they just put up that show on Saturday and then Raw comes back and here's like Raw's fucking answer to NXT this Saturday and AEW last Saturday, and then this is another Monday Night Raw that's just boring as all hell. So I don't understand what they're doing on the main roster, but something's got to change, man. Something has to change. And people say that Triple H can't book a good show, but like I said, NXT was fantastic. So those people who say that, their opinions are irrelevant, at least to me. Up next, we get another talk show segment that nobody wants with The Miz. His special guest is Seth Rollins. You know, and babyface Miz is just not doing it for me. I just don't like him as a babyface at all. They tried this before and back in the day and it didn't work, and now they're trying it again and it's still not really working. He's just a natural heel. He's just a prick. You know, that's where he shines. He's not shining when he's kissing the ass of other baby faces and hyping them up and then sucking up to the crowd and all this other bullshit. It's not working for me, at least. I don't know who's buying into it, but Miz is a much better heel. And he gets better reactions. He gets better babyface reactions as a heel than he does as a babyface. So, go figure that one out. They bring up Lesnar's cash in again. And I'm telling you right now, at this point, I'm thinking in my head, like, I know, I'm about 95% sure at this point that this fucking cash in is not even going to happen. You know, I'm like, this isn't going to happen. It's just more bait and switch, you know, to get people to keep watching all the way until whenever the fucking moment comes that he's going to cash in, or supposed to. I mean, at this point, it's yet to be determined, but like I said, I was pretty damn confident at this point that we were not going to get a cash in. I was like, there's no way it's going to happen tonight. And we'll find out if it happened or not when we get to it. What do you think happened if you didn't watch? Do you think the cash-in happened? I doubt it. Miz then says how him and Rollins have both won the Money in the Bank and how they found opportunistic times to cash in. But basically, this is a different type of caliber athlete holding the briefcase, blah, blah. Nobody cares. Rollins did say one true statement here throughout this whole thing that is 100% fact, and that was that nobody likes Baron Corbin. I couldn't agree more, Mr. Rollins. Because I know I don't, and I know you people most likely don't either. The camera then cuts backstage. We see Heyman getting out of the passenger seat, and Brock Lesnar not far behind. They start heading towards the gorilla position like they're about to come towards the ring. But then, of course, they switch directions and head toward the locker room area. And that was basically it. Rollins music hits. Segment ends. We go to commercial. Waste of fucking time. Up next is the Lucha House Party. And we're told that it's going to be a 3-on-1 handicap match at Super Showdown. Them versus Lars Sullivan. Man, I can feel the excitement in the air for that one. Because we haven't seen that before. They were supposed to compete in a tag match, I guess, but that didn't happen, and Sullivan just comes out of nowhere, and before whoever their opponents were supposed to be came out, and then you know, he just comes out and basically starts wrecking them, and then they start fighting back a little bit, and they fight him off, and that was basically it. He beat him down a little bit, and then they did like a triple drop kick and knocked him out the ring, and then he just stood there and yelled, and that was basically the end. So here's a few more guys who I'm sure are looking forward to their contracts running out. I'm sure AEW can put them in the tag division, which is already looking impressive, and they would be much better off and a lot happier than what they're doing here on Raw, and jobbing out to Lars Sullivan. We get Nikki Cross backstage with the Iconics. As soon as I see the Iconics, I just completely just zone out, because I just don't fucking care. And if you want to talk about, if there's two women on the roster, just two people in general on the roster that I just don't give a flying fuck about whatsoever, and I probably never will, it's the Iconics. Or the Moronics, or whatever the fuck you want to call them. They start making fun of Nikki Cross, I think, and then Bliss comes out of nowhere. And then, like I said, I don't know what happened after that. I just lost interest until the Iconics left, and then Bliss says something about how nobody likes her, but then Cross says that they're friends because Bliss has been nothing but helpful since she got there. I don't know who's liking this. I mean, at least they're giving Nikki Cross something to do, I suppose, but kind of just looking like a gullible idiot till Alexa Bliss is probably going to turn her back on her. I just don't know, man. I mean, I want to give it a chance just because like I said, I try to give everything a chance. It's just whether or not it can retain my attention, which most of the time it does not. But, you know, I don't know, man. It just feels boring to me. We'll see what happens as it goes along. But I don't know. We're then told that there's an arm wrestling contest between Bobby Trashley and Braun Strowman tonight. Man, I can't fucking wait for that. Way to just, you know, give the fans something to be excited for. What's coming up in the show? A fucking arm wrestling match. Which wasn't the worst segment of the night, which I thought it would be. But we'll get into that when that part of the show comes up, which isn't too far away. Becky Lynch then makes her way to the ring. Still getting good reaction, so it's good to see that. She comes out, talks about how she finally was able to go home over the past weekend after 63 long days of pretty much busting her ass since Mania. Says she's been all over Europe, doing talk shows, other appearances, and of course winning the main event at WrestleMania. I mean, can we move on from that now? Let's not keep living on past accomplishments now, and let's just move on to the future and, you know, having a meaningful title run, because right now it's not very meaningful. It hasn't been all that great, and that's, again, no fault of Becky Lynch. It's the fault of the booking. When you have constantly Charlotte in the fucking picture, and then you have Lacey Evans who wins one fucking match against Natalya of all people, and then she's just thrusted into the fucking title picture with no real explanation. And we still don't really know anything about her character. No backstory, no nothing. Anyway, says she's become content and how that's a dangerous way to be. But now she's pissed off, and then she proceeds to aim her anger towards Lacey Evans, who then, of course, interrupts Becky. Says she refuses to let a woman like Becky be the face of her division. Yeah, sure thing. It's your division, alright. I'm sure it is. I'm sure you just flaunt around a little bit backstage, you know, show a little cheek, maybe a little side boob, and it's definitely your division. This is then interrupted, of course, by Charlotte. You know, the wild card in a fucking effect. Man, the wild card rule is just fucking fantastic, isn't it? You just never know what's going to happen on Raw. So anyway, like I said, the wild card bullshit, it's rearing its ugly head again. You know, I don't know why we have champions for each show if this is just going to continue to be a thing. I really don't understand. Everybody's on both shows, or at least the people that matter to them. So why have two fucking champions? Why just have one women's champion, and that's it? What does it matter? Charlotte's on SmackDown. She's on Raw. Becky's on Raw. Yes, she's always on SmackDown. Lacey Evans is on Raw. She's always on SmackDown. I'm surprised Bayley wasn't there tonight. Fucking ridiculous, man. I don't understand this shit. That's why I did this whole wild card rule. It's just dumb. It doesn't make any sense. But Vince McMahon is a genius. Let's not forget. Where the hell did I leave off here? Lacey then says that Charlotte's coming to the ring. Basically, that Charlotte's just a daddy's girl who needs attention. Not lying there. Charlotte then says that she's on her way to beating her dad's record, and yeah, maybe you are, but I mean, who cares? The number of title reigns means nothing. It's what you do as champion that means something, and none of hers, and quite honestly, none of the women's title runs since Asuka, except for Shayna Baszler going on right now, have been anything noteworthy. Asuka had a great title run. Shayna Baszler's having a great title run. But of course, those both happened in NXT. But NXT's garbage, right? Or NXT's the minor leagues, or whatever people want to say. Yeah, sure thing. That's because NXT knows how to actually book their championships and their champions. You know, even Becky Lynch's run has been pretty lackluster, you know. There's no excitement really behind it. And like I said, yeah, she gets great crowd reaction, but the title itself just kind of feels worthless. I don't know what else you want me to say about it. You know, like I said, it's always Charlotte in the title picture constantly, or it's a woman who doesn't deserve to be in the title picture, like Lacey Evans. Again, I don't understand. I don't know why they don't just have all the women, you know, slowly working their way up to be title contenders. I don't know what this is with just. It's always fucking blondes in title matches. I don't understand it. Yeah, but what the fuck do I know? Anyway, this bickering leads to a match between Lacey Evans and Charlotte. Again, I didn't pay much attention to this match either. Some people might say, well, Danny, if you don't watch or you don't pay attention, then how the hell are you supposed to care? Well, maybe if the WWE made me feel like what I was watching actually meant something, maybe I would pay attention and actually try to care. But I don't. Most of the talent on the main roster has zero momentum and aren't made to feel exciting or feel like stars. And again, it's not their fault. But I don't know what else you want me to say. There was one spot I did catch in this match. It was a spot where they both bounced off the ropes and did a double crossbody, which looked absolutely fucking terrible. And then after that, Becky Lynch just interferes in the match by throwing Charlotte to the outside. And she storms in the ring and hits Lacey Evans with her new finisher, which looks like kind of like a rock bottom type move. And last week I thought it was called the Man Slam. I was corrected, it's called the Manhandle Slam, which really isn't much better. So my mistake for calling it the wrong thing last week, but really, who cares? Like, I don't mind the move. It's not a bad looking move. You know, I like that she has another move to end matches outside of just the armbar, but at the same time, it needs to be more impactful. So I don't know if it was just the way Lacey Evans sold it, or if it's just because the women aren't really, you know, heavier and can't really slam as hard as the men, so it looks kind of weak. But it looked a little weak. It doesn't really look like a finisher. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. Maybe it was just bad selling, but at least she has a new move that can end matches instead of just the armbar. Up next, we have Rey Mysterio, and he's here to relinquish the United States Championship. We get a clip of Joe attacking Mysterio after Money in the Bank, where he hits the Uranagi. We see the one that is the one that separated Rey's shoulder. He did land quite badly on it, so I can see how it dislocated. So that's definitely an unfortunate injury. And even though Rey Mysterio has felt very, very ordinary since he came back, you know, I still feel bad that he has to go away, because it still is one less person on the roster to fill a spot. If he was smart, he wouldn't come back to this awful show. He'd either ask to go to NXT, which I think would be great, or just leave entirely. I mean, I think he has to compete for at least 18 months. And then if he doesn't like what's going on, he has the option to just leave. And I can't remember how long he's been back. But when that 18 months is up, if something doesn't change, which I'm sure it won't, I'd be out. I'd be gone. I'd be off to AEW looking to end my career happy. Because Rey Mysterio is definitely on the latter part of his career. He says that he's relinquishing the belt. And then Joe comes out, interrupts him. Joe then says he heard the word champion and thought that was his cue to come out. That made me laugh. Joe is a fucking beast, and he isn't wrong. He says Rey isn't relinquishing the championship because he's injured, but because he knows that he never truly won it since Joe's shoulders were never truly down. Which, again, is not wrong. Rey says that he's going to just relinquish the title and just hand it over to Joe, and then he just lays it on the ground, and then as he goes to leave the ring, Joe just attacks him from behind and locks in the coquina clutch, and Rey passes out. And yeah, so Samoa Joe looking as dominant as ever, looking like a true heel and great as always. I actually kind of enjoyed this segment. I don't know what it was about the segment, but it felt like it mattered. I don't know how else to explain it. I really don't know how to put it into words, but I just felt like, I don't know if the word important is correct, because it didn't really feel all that important, but it didn't feel like something I just wanted to not pay attention to. I felt like I wanted to pay attention to it, so I actually did enjoy this segment. You know, at first I wasn't happy with Joe just being rewarded the belt, but at the same time, his shoulder technically never really was pinned, so I'm going to let it slide. I mean, he should have never lost the belt to begin with, so him getting the belt right back, I'm fine with. Samoa Joe needs to be a champion. Let's just not have him lose every week like they were doing before when he was United States champion. Can we have him go on like a nice little win streak and have a meaningful title run? Can we have somebody have a meaningful title run that's actually exciting? And then it's, you know, it feels like something important happens when the said champion loses the belt? I doubt it, but we'll see. Up next, we get what I thought was probably going to be the worst segment of the night. Strowman and Trashley in an arm wrestling contest. Though I do remember something like this being entertaining. I remember before Triple H and Scott Steiner back in like 2002 had one, and I remember that being quite entertaining. So I was like, yeah, let's see if these guys can actually get me to enjoy something that is most likely going to be a douche bump inducing fucking segment. We come back from commercial, because of course they had to go to commercial after Strowman made his entrance. And we get 2 quick promos from Cesaro and Ricochet, who apparently are having another match tonight. And what did I say last week? WWE can't help themselves, and they have to give us something that we enjoyed, and then put it into overkill. So we liked the first match, we kind of enjoyed it. Well, we thoroughly enjoyed it. Then we enjoyed last week's match, and then of course now they got to give us a third fucking match tonight. I was like, it's going to be a good match, but damn, if they just can't hold something off and build anything up to draw some kind of excitement. Why not make it? It was a rubber match, so they both won once. So why not put a stipulation where, hey, whoever wins this match is going to be the number 1 contender for Samoa Joe and the U.S. Championship. I don't know why, but that's definitely not what happened. Anyway, Trashley comes out, and it's time for the arm wrestling bullshit to happen. They go to lock up. Trashley slaps Strowman in the face as they go to lock up. Strowman knocks over the table, all pissed off. The referee says, hey, this is an arm wrestling match. So he's basically holding Strowman back and getting mad at Strowman, even though Lashley's the one that caused the physicality, so it doesn't really make any sense. Anyway, the referees put the table back up. They go to lock up again. They start actually arm wrestling for a second. So take 2. And then right before that, though, Lashley flexes in front of Strowman, and I'm not going to lie, I kind of laughed at Lashley's face. His eyes were bulging out, and he's got this ridiculous look on his face. So it was actually kind of funny. Probably the best part of the segment. They finally started up, and then Lashley pulls away about 10 seconds into it, playing more mind games. The referee then pulls out a bag, and they dip their hands into some of Titus's famous flour that he uses backstage to help bread all the chicken, or whatever else he's making back there. So they put powder on their hands, or whatever the fuck is in there. Lashley then locks up at Strowman, and they actually had the arm wrestling match, and then Strowman actually won. So I'm surprised it even got that far. Of course, after Strowman wins, Lashley then grabs a handful of powder, throws it in Strowman's face, and then, in something that was actually kind of impressive, he just deadlifts Braun Strowman and then just delivers a power slam like Strowman normally does. So, it wasn't the worst segment that I thought it was going to be. But at the same time, I really don't know what this did to make anybody feel excited about their match on Friday. But at least it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. We got an impressive power slam, feat of strength there by Bobby Lashley. The stupid face he made that made me laugh, and yeah. So it wasn't the worst segment, and it wasn't long either. It was kind of maybe like 7-8 minutes, so at least it ended quickly. Anyway, moving on. We get R-Truth. He's at a golf course with Carmella. Jinder Mahal comes out of nowhere, rolls up Truth for the win, and then right after that, Carmella's yelling at him, or yelling at Jinder, and then Truth just rolls him back up and then wins the belt back. So Truth is now, what, a 4-time champion? Yeah, real exciting. Real exciting. We already got a 4-time champion. We then just cut backstage and we see EC3 and Drake Maverick. They're walking around looking for Truth. EC3 looks so excited to be there, holding a red Solo Cup, probably still partying from when Street Profits won the tag titles on Saturday. You know, same shit, different week. I don't know why EC3 is in this segment. There was no reason for him to be there at all. He was just there holding a cup, looking like an idiot. Looking so... The look on his face just said everything. He looked depressed. He looked sad. He looked like, when the fuck is my contract up? Anyway, up next we got Alyssa Bliss coming out. Then Nikki Cross comes out. Apparently Bliss is going to be in Cross's corner as she takes on Peyton Royce from the Iconics. One good thing about this segment was that Alexa was looking fantastic in a pair of white pants. I will say that. She looks fantastic every week. No, we already know that, but these fucking echoes, man. You can't say Alexa Bliss's name in this room. These fucking things just pick up everything you hear. Anyway, she looks great in a pair of white pants. I guess the other good thing is that it wasn't Billie Kay wrestling. It was actually Peyton Royce. Not that that's much better. Anyway, during this match, you can see Nikki Cross is bleeding from her mouth. Commentary makes no mention of it, of course, because blood, bad. Blood is definitely bad. You can't talk about blood, can't have blood. As soon as you see blood, referees start pulling out their fucking surgery gloves like someone's fucking dying. Anyway, during this match, Alexa Bliss has some idiot come out and give her a cup of coffee. So I guess this is like her new gimmick now. She's sitting there drinking it. Of course, this distracts Peyton Royce for some reason in the ring. Peyton Royce then reaches her foot through the ropes and kicks the coffee out of Alexa Bliss's hands. It spills on the floor. And then Billie Kay comes over and knocks over Alexa on her ass into the coffee. So now her white pants that she looked so great in are all stained up. Nikki then, thanks to the distraction, hits her neck breaker and she wins. So after the match, Bliss is looking all pissed off, seething, storms the ring, delivers a drop kick to Peyton Royce, and then delivers a DDT on Billie Kay. And Billie Kay made this look fucking god-awful. Her head looked like it was about 3 feet from touching the mat. So imagine somebody going for a DDT, and then the person lands on their knees, and then their head is about a good 12 to 18 inches from hitting the mat, and then she sells it anyway. Fucking god-awful, dude. Absolutely god. Please, for the love of fucking God, stop putting these two women in the ring. They fucking suck more than anyone in recent history, aside from maybe Eva Marie. And I don't even think Eva Marie was this bad. This is just god-awful. At least Eva Marie wasn't a fucking champion. They just are terrible. They've lost every match since becoming champions. So, again, these titles are absolutely worthless. My foam European Championship belt that I still have from 2000 that I bought at WWF New York with a missing strap and a missing side plate is worth more than the women's tag titles right now. And that's facts. You know, I've said before that these tag titles were not needed. It was not the right time for them. And they would not be built up to mean anything. And, of course, I was right. And this is exactly why Sasha Banks left. And I hope to God is not coming back. Just stay far, far away from here because you will not be given anything noteworthy to do. Seriously. Anyway, come back from commercial. Here comes Rollins again for the second time. Already I'm fucking... Oh, look, I love Seth Rollins. I think he's great, but this is 2 weeks in a row now where he's come out. Last week he came out 3 times. This week it's twice. This is what I'm talking about, overexposing. So, you know, instead of having other people come out that could have that spot, let's just bring out the same people 2, 3, 4 fucking times in one night. It doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. You know, you got people getting overexposed again, and then people who are just completely just not, you know, showcased at all. So, I don't know, man. I really don't know. Anyway, Rollins is basically out there. He's begging Lesnar to come out. And, of course, he doesn't at first. So then out comes Baron Corbin. Says that Rollins needs to focus more on him and not Lesnar. They wind up brawling. Corbin then hits the end of days on Rollins after Rollins gets distracted by Lesnar's music that played like 3 times during the segment. And then it goes off for like the 4th time. And then this time, this is when Rollins is down, of course. Lesnar actually comes out this time. Gets in the ring. Rollins gets up. He kicks Rollins in the balls. Starts beating him with a chair. Delivers a German suplex. Beats him some more with the chair. Throws him to the outside. F5s him on the outside. Throws him back in the ring. Beats him down some more with the chair. Hits another German. Heyman's sitting there screaming for Brock to cash in. Lesnar starts yelling at him, Friday, Friday, Friday. And I told you it wasn't going to happen tonight. I fucking knew it wasn't going to happen. Bait and switch. And quite frankly, I'm so fucking sick of this false advertisement and this type of bullshit that they keep doing. And even though I knew it was bullshit since the beginning of the show, I'm just tired of these cheap tactics to try and get people to stay tuned in. It's very cheap and it's very just dishonest and just, it's kind of just, just makes you feel nasty. Fucking, this fucking bait and switch. It's every week they do this shit. They do it every single week. Lesnar then beats Rollins some more with the chair. Then he starts beating him with the briefcase, which is no longer looking like a boombox, by the way. Lesnar then leaves, and the crowd is just dead silent. You could have heard a fucking pin drop. It was so quiet. This segment was awful. Nobody seemed interested. Seriously, nobody was interested in this fucking filth. This is just awful stuff. The fans were just like, they looked disgusted. The look on their face like that they just, I don't even know. I don't even know how to explain it. Quiet and just like sitting there in like a state of shock. Like, how is this show this bad? You know, I wish he would just cash in already and just get this shit over with, because it's boring, boring, boring. And usually I enjoy a good beatdown, but I just did not care about this one, because again, he didn't cash in, and I don't know, man. I mean, I guess it gives Rollins that babyface sympathy, but it really didn't do anything for me watching at home. I still didn't care. I didn't feel bad. Come back from commercial and Seth is being loaded into an ambulance. Becky Lynch is by his side, of course. They load him in, take him away. I'm praying to God that this doesn't lead to a Baron Corbin fucking title run. Or, you know, I'm hoping it's just Brock Lesnar just cashes in on Friday, just cashes it in, either loses somehow or just wins, and just get this shit over with, and then on to the next guy to beat Lesnar, which at this point is meaningless. It'll probably be Roman Reigns. He'll probably just magically just challenge for the Universal title, even though he's on SmackDown. Anyway, we then get our next installment of the Firefly Funhouse. We have Bray Wyatt wearing a black and pink gym shirt with a headband on and a fanny pack. I think the fanny pack was pink too, so he's looking like a real idiot. And he wants to talk about exercise. We see this pig named Huskus the Pig, so I guess it's like a take on Husky Harris. This whole segment was just filled with fucking just puns all over the place. You got this one pretty much talking Husky Harris, so it's basically talking about himself, what he used to be. So Huskus the Pig Boy, and he's sitting there eating a chocolate bar. Talks about how Bray talks about how basically being fat and out of shape is going to come back to bite him. But one day, you can be great, and people will tell you that you're a genius. So this is kind of like a take on people saying how Bray Wyatt can be great if they if they would have gave him a chance, and basically people saying that creatively he's, I guess people were calling him a genius maybe, and it also ties into Vince McMahon calling himself a genius, even though he's not. Neither one of them is really a genius. I mean, Bray Wyatt is very creative. I don't know if I'd call him a genius. Anyway, as soon as the word genius is thrown around, we get this fucking Vince McMahon puppet that has devil horns on it. And he just comes in and says, "You both need to get your act together." And then he's about to say, "Or you're going to be fired," but he's cut off by Yowie Wowie. You know, basically just subliminally saying how Vince pretty much hated Bray when he was fat and out of shape. And that how he needed to get in shape, or he was probably going to wind up fired. I don't know. This is what I was getting the vibe from, just basically shitting on what Bray Wyatt used to be, and now Bray Wyatt's like in shape now, so he's getting a chance, and they're probably basically just shitting on the fans. Here, you can just see it. If you don't believe me, go back and watch it. We then get probably the worst part of this. We get Bray Wyatt dancing and singing while he's doing some exercises. It says, "Pull up your pants and do the Muscle Man dance." And then it ends how it always does. He says, "I'll light the way if you let me in." This was by far the worst of these segments yet. They took the momentum that they had a couple of weeks ago and the potential all of this had when he revealed the mask and everything that he calls the Fiend and the creepy version of himself, and they killed it within 2 to 3 weeks. I'm at the point where I'm truly not really interested anymore. I mean, this is going on way too fucking long, and he just needs to debut already and just start kicking ass. But nope, we're gonna get more of these. You know, let's have him fucking dance like an idiot while throwing jabs at the rumors and shit people were saying about him and Vince and all the fucking shit that was happening between them and all the shit that was going on backstage over the last few years. Like I said, this was terrible, and it just soured me on this whole thing, this whole Firefly thing, Funhouse thing, whatever. When he debuts, you know, I'm still gonna try and stay interested, but right now my interest level is about a 2, and it was easily like an 8 or a 9 about 2 or 3 weeks ago. So this Firefly Funhouse shit needs to end. It's gotta stop. Enough already. They're doing it too much. They're running out of good ideas. The last 2 or 3 have not been that great. This was just not good at all. Nothing about this one was good. The whole thing where it's just people shitting on the fans again. They got Vince portrayed as the devil because the fans call him the devil. Whatever. I don't know, man. I don't know. They literally took something that was like red hot, and fucking threw in the freezer the last 2 or 3 weeks, and now it's ice cold. At least it is to me. Maybe you guys are still into it, but like I said, I'm losing interest quickly. He needs to debut already. Anyway, Triple H is next. He's scheduled to have a face-to-face meeting with Orton before their match on Friday. He comes out, NXT chant starts, and you know that just has to make Triple H smile inside. You know, he just knows that NXT is leagues better than this fucking garbage. You could almost see, if you look at him closer, you can almost see the disappointment on his face to what this show has become, because they're chanting NXT and he's like sitting there like, yeah, that's great, but we're here on Raw and this show sucks. Basically says, yeah, that's great and all, but I'm here to talk about Orton. Really, he wanted to say, yeah, that's great and all, but this show fucking sucks. That's basically what he wanted to say. Anyway, Orton comes out, and even though it's mostly stuff that we've seen before, you know, it's got my attention. Interested to see what happens here. They go back and forth for a bit. And Triple H said a lot of people have tried to take him down over the years, but now they're all gone. And he's still there. And he also said as Orton will not be the one to take him down. Orton then says for Triple H to make a promise to him, and that's before their match on Friday, that he goes and retrieves his balls from Stephanie's purse. Yeah, it's a good line, but it's not something we haven't heard before. CM Punk said it back in 2013 when him and Triple H were having a promo back in the day, when Triple H started first becoming this whole like corporate side of him. So again, it's nothing new here. Still a good line nonetheless. Got a reaction out of the crowd. Triple H then says, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. You know, it's a burden to hold these things around because they're so damn big. It's kind of funny, but you know, it is what it is. It's Triple H. But Orton, he said Orton wouldn't know what that feels like because he's never had balls to begin with. And it gets another reaction out of the crowd. Orton smiles. Orton looked like he wanted to crack up. And that was pretty much that. This wasn't terrible, but it wasn't really anything special either. It was nothing out of the ordinary. Just a quick little promo to hype up their match. I mean, you know, I'm not all that interested in it, but I'll see what they got. You know, Orton's still great in the ring. Triple H is still got it somewhat, I suppose, so we'll see what happens. You know, Orton Triple H is probably one of the better matches on the card. I can't think of anything else I'm really interested in. Maybe Kofi and Ziggler, maybe they'll have a good match, but anyway, that's neither here nor there. That's for another day. Next up, we got Pew Pew fucking Ricochet coming out with his fucking stupid sound effects versus Cesaro. And believe me, I love Ricochet. He's great and all, but I told you, they're just these little tweaks that they made to him just awful. Anyway, I'm actually starting to like Cesaro's new music and his entrance and everything. It's starting to actually grow on me, and I can definitely see him being in world title contention with this little slight tweak. I mean, yeah, he could use a little bit of promo work, but you know, nonetheless, his in-ring is great, his entrance is great, his music is good, he has the look, he has the physique, he's like everything that Vince McMahon you would think wants, but I don't know, I doubt it. So this match was pretty good. Ricochet did this fucking crazy looking twisting head scissors. I mean, it was one that I've never seen a variation like this before. I mean, just go back and watch it, you know what I mean. He just like flips around like twice and then catches Cesaro and does a head scissors on him. Then it was followed up by a Jeff Hardy like walk the barricade spot where he jumped off and did a Hurricanrana, but it was a bit sloppy because I think he lost his footing, both him and Cesaro. Like I said, it was a pretty good match, as was expected. I didn't expect it to be a bad match. Ricochet does wind up winning this match with a somewhat botched roll-up. You could tell they were going for something else, but they kind of rebounded nicely and made it not look so bad, but it was still a roll-up nonetheless. And we got Cesaro taking another L, and these are two guys that should not be taking L's. They shouldn't even be wrestling again, but here we are. So then after the match, Cesaro attacks Ricochet, and he goes to the outside, he grabs a ladder, and then pretty much says, nah, I don't want that. Goes back under the ring, grabs a table, starts pulling it out, and as he's pulling out the table, R-Truth is laying on top of the table under the ring, hiding. Now, I'm not going to lie, between the look on Truth's face and just this whole thing where Truth is just hiding under there, I'm not gonna lie, I laughed pretty hard at this. This is actually pretty funny. Just because it is R-Truth. No, I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you and say I didn't laugh at this. So this is actually one funny segment here with the whole 24/7 thing. I mean, just go back and the look on R-Truth's face was just hilarious. Like, fuck, I've been found. Of course, the laughs quickly stop because as soon as he's found, the whole fucking catering crew comes out. They're flying from the back, chase R-Truth around the ring and all around and all this bullshit. What's his name? Cedric Alexander goes in the ring for some reason and does a tope suicida over the top rope, taking out everybody except for R-Truth. I don't know what sense that made. And then they all just keep chasing him to the back. But not before Carmella delivered a super kick to Drake Maverick, who was in the ring after everybody else was taken out. And that was basically it. So, I don't know, man. The 24/7 belt is not really doing anything. I mean, it's been, what, 3 weeks now? Belt is 3 weeks old, and I laughed one time out of like 15 segments this thing's had already between Raw and SmackDown. So, yeah. Anyway, finally, we're up to our last segment. Thank Christ. Undertaker making an appearance here on Raw. He's coming out to talk about Goldberg and their match on Friday. And now, look, I know that Undertaker is 50 plus years old, but like I said in the beginning, he's been a part of basically my entire life, of especially watching wrestling. That I can't help but enjoy, seeing him on television, especially on a show where nothing else is exciting. So at least I can make myself somewhat excited to see the Undertaker. At least, I mean, we've seen his entrance like a fucking million times, but still, I'm trying my best here. So excuse me for trying to enjoy an Undertaker appearance. Trying to be positive about something. Anyway, he comes out to a great reaction. It's as to be expected. Comes out, he asks everybody, how do you think it feels when you come face to face with death for the first time? Do the skies get dark? Does the floor begin to break open? Do you choke on the scent of the souls who are already gone? I don't know where the Undertaker comes up with the shit he says, but I think it's fucking fantastic, man. Says he doesn't want the family man Goldberg, where his wife and kids are looking up gleaming with joy. He wants the mythical, unstoppable version, and that if Goldberg brings anything less, then their first match will be Goldberg's last. And then after that, he basically says, Goldberg, you're next. And then the show just abruptly goes off the air. There was no him walking away with his music playing, no little fucking title card in the bottom of the screen to let you know the show's going off the air. It just goes off. Just cuts away. It doesn't even fade away. Just cuts right to the next show. That whatever that god-awful show is that comes on after Raw. So, yeah, I mean, like I said, I enjoy The Undertaker and his promos. I don't know where he comes up with half the shit he says, but I enjoyed what he said. I don't like how it abruptly ended right after, but it is what it is. I mean, it wasn't really anything to fucking wait 3 hours to see. I mean, to wait 3 hours just to see The Undertaker come out and then say a couple of lines to Goldberg that were entertaining, I'm not gonna lie, but was it worth waiting 3 hours? No, it was not. But it's gonna be a moment to see them in the ring together, face to face for the first time. But well, not really the first time. They were in the Royal Rumble a couple years ago, but I don't expect anything other than choke slams and tombstones and spears and jackhammers and last rides, if he can even do a last ride. So that's all I expect. Is just a bunch of finishers in their match and someone winning within 6 to 10 minutes tops. This match will not go over 10 minutes. I probably won't even go 6. It'll probably start with Goldberg spearing The Undertaker or trying to choke slam, tombstone counter, spear, jackhammer, counter, tombstone, kick out, jackhammer, 1, 2, 3. Goldberg's probably going to win this match. But, I mean, Taker is old, Goldberg's old, and Goldberg never really could wrestle to begin with, so like I said, I don't expect much out of this match, but I am interested to see how it plays out nonetheless. So, I don't know, man. That's pretty much a Monday Night Raw review. We got SmackDown tomorrow. We got NXT on Wednesday. This should be a good show. Hopefully. I don't actually know. Usually after a takeover, they do the next NXT weekly show from the same arena that they were in for TakeOver. It's usually the dark matches that happen, so I'm guessing that we won't get a proper rebound show until next week, but we'll see what happens with that. And then Friday we got the Super Showdown, and then we got the next pay-per-view in June, or later this month. Obviously we're already in June. That's called Stomping Grounds, which is a fucking god-awful name. They just had a show not that long ago called, what was it called, Breaking Ground, where it was like NXT guys or whoever, like, making their rise up the ranks in the Performance Center and whatnot. So, pretty uncreative name, but I don't expect anything less from the WWE. And that was basically it, man. Another lackluster show. If I had to give it a rating out of 10, 3 out of 10. And again, that's being nice, man. I really want to give these shows mostly just ones. You know, sometimes I want to give it less than a 1. Sometimes I want to give it a 0, but realistically I have to rate it from a 1 to 10, and I usually want to give it a 1, but I'm trying to be nice and I'll give it a 3. Just because I did laugh once or twice and did enjoy the Undertaker's promo for what it was. And then the Triple H Orton thing was okay, and Cesaro and Ricochet had a good match, and that was basically it. So that's where your 3 points come from. Anyways, man, if you're new around here, hit that subscribe button. Hit the like button. I don't know if it does anything because YouTube's always messed up. I'm trying to get to 100 subscribers by sometime during the summer. I don't know if that's going to happen because, I don't know, YouTube's just stupid sometimes. But if you do subscribe, hit the bell for the notifications because I try to post as often as possible. I don't know. I don't just do wrestling. I do some video game stuff if you're into that. Yeah, if that's not your thing, then hey, I at least do Monday Night Raws every single week. I really want to do more, but like I said, Monday Night Raw just absolutely drains me of whatever energy I have left, and the week just started and already drains me to the point where sometimes I don't even want to watch SmackDown because it's just Monday Night Raw 2.0. But I'll watch it tomorrow. Maybe for once I'll make a review on it. I don't know. I'm not making any promises because, you know, again, it's nothing really different. It's the same shit on SmackDown. Nothing really new happening, but that's all I got, man. And hope you guys have a good night, and see you guys in the next video. Take it easy.